be a minute or so now while I'm looking for something to talk about.
Okay. Oh my god.
Okay, we'll mention it. We'll maybe talk more in depth on it after we're done. But we're left clicking from a little too close. Right click inherently is the Orisa, for example. Yeah. Right click is a faster fire rate, therefore more damage. So whenever you're
More
within
DPS.
more DPS, right? So whenever you're close enough, make sure right clicking.
What the? Okay, that was quick. Hold diva, hold diva, hold diva. Mercy's one shot, Mercy's one shot. On Orisa, on Orisa. Kiriko's in this room. You can get Kiriko. Far's one in the sky. Nice shot. Oh.
Make sure we're watching our health bar. I think we were maybe we should have been like dropping to go for the mini or something like that, but we kind of went up to the Ash.
Yeah. I got Blade here. We can Kiriko in. All right.
Kiriko half. Contesting Bob.
The resing. Oh my god. Oh my fucking.
All right. Make sure you're watching health bar, maybe reloading a bit faster if you know she's about to grab mini. Besides that, might also be a great idea to call for the damage boost from Mercy as well, which would allow us to slash dash rather than just going off of Kiriko ult. Make sure we're keeping an eye.
Mercy's damage boost can one shot 200 HPs?
No, not one shot. Yeah, slash dash, correct.
Ooh.
Yep. So
it was just nano. Okay.
Exactly, same thing as nano boost, and when comboed with nano boost, can one tap with a slash.
Oh my god. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Switch to Zarya. Sojourn. You're alone in there, Diva. Sojourn no movement? Oh my god. Wait, Zarya's alone. I'm hold down. Sorry. Good shit. Hey, the point is stationary.
Contesting high ground.
Diva, we can go high ground. Are you bad? Oh, you're here. Zarya's back.
Okay, make sure we're watching for reses, because Mercy's getting off a lot right now, so whenever we get a kill and they have a Mercy, we gotta be eyeballing those bodies.
I got you. Sojourn.
Kiriko 1.
Watch us. Mercy can pop out. I only got one healer. Where's he going for the Kiriko res? I'm ping. Oh my god, I had to reload. Keep me up. Okay.
So in that situation, possibly, especially for lower, make sure we're using cover, which is maybe something we can talk about after we're done here. But make sure going and using solid objects to avoid damage, especially if we're like half HP and we're trying to get healed.
Like natural cover more so than just
natural
jumping
cover.
out in the open. Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Genji, let's contest high ground here.
I got you.
Heading up 3, 2, 1. Mercy split!
No, I'm low, I can't go. We can blade in here. Mercy 1 damage me for the blade.
5 seconds.
When you jump in, I'll blade with you.
We going together.
Yeah.
3,
Mercy, boost me here.
1. Soch 1, Soch 1.
Big.
No
Sorry.
more.
Sojourn. Okay, that worked out somehow.
All right. Seems like we're losing track of people we're bleeding easily. So make sure that we're
Yeah.
intentionally like thinking through in our head, like who are our targets they're
Planning
trying
out
to go
well.
for. Yeah,
Mhm.
planning it out ahead of time, kind of scouting,
Soch there on
and then making sure that we're putting in active effort into paying attention to like who we're on while we're going in. Oftentimes it seems like we kind of just
right.
don't know where they go after we ult.
Right. Is that like a practice thing, or is that like a
Going in on the
trainable thing? I
attack.
don't
3.
know.
Well, we can maybe talk a bit about that, but it's a harder thing to practice, but it is practicable.
Zarkin die. One shot.
Mercy 1, Mercy 1.
Oh, I'm one.
Star 1.
Good shit. One thing, Zara. Oh, Kiriko's pumping heals into her. Ah! Unlucky. There's no monkey alive. My god. Might have Blossom this fight. They're definitely have a rush. Just call for Reaper if he walks into us.
3, 2, 1. We want to go in here. Blossom. Reaper no
Okay,
ult.
good job watching
Only
the
consume has the
rest.
heals. We can get Kiriko. Kiriko no TP.
Counter TP. You're dead.
Reaper next.
Reaper low.
No Wraith. Oh, Mercy probably back by now. I got Lucio.
Ash 1. Lucio.
Oh,
Moira.
gotta watch for those respawns. That way we're not getting melted. Potentially, I think that we got melted really fast there because Reaper's shooting at us as well. So make sure you're like using
That's
the flex sooner in the duel.
Okay. More to fade. On ping.
Lucio.
Lucio 1. Half.
Bob can't contest. Get Diva.
Reaper no Wraith. Good shit. No fade. Good shit.
Okay, very nice. A lot of deaths that round,
Yeah.
especially like more easily preventable ones. The lower we can get that death count, the more we're going to be able to do, right? Obviously, everybody knows deaths aren't great. Are you able to press tab? Like, what's the? Do you know how much time is left? Okay, so there is currently, let's say that includes spawn time. So let's say that's more like 8 minutes. That means we died 6 times in 8 minutes. Let's say that like next round this goes twice the length. That means we're gonna end the game with like 12 deaths. Each time you die, it's 10, not only 10 seconds of respawn, but it's also 10 seconds of walk back usually, which is 20 seconds per death. We can do 20 times 12.
Well, there's a lot of
divided by
time.
60.
Okay.
Which means that overall we would have, roughly speaking, about 4 minutes of time that we're dead, right? Which is just a lot of time when you stop to think about that, right? That's
Okay.
enough time to get like 2 blades, roughly speaking, right?
Right.
We could be doing a lot of damage, a lot of value, and it's not just lack of value; it's also negative value because our team is now that's our impact on losing fights when we're dead. So we want to make sure we're looking to stay alive. Think about why are we dying. Could be a couple things. I remember we're kind of rushing through this here, but
Right.
you got lack of awareness, poor positioning, not using cover, misuse of abilities. Then you also have like over aggression going into their team. So just make sure we're keeping an eye on that, looking to stay alive a bit more.
Oh, they have Lucio Lucio, Mercy.
So here I should probably stay high ground until they like really push us.
Sure.
Lucio right side.
Oh.
Lucio right side coming up high ground. Lucio
Pick.
can die here.
Watch us, watch us, watch us. Far with no mercy, far with no mercy on ping.
They're up.
Oh, I made the wrong way. Heals on point, heals on point. Go for the mercy, get the mercy.
Mercy, Mercy right. Lucio on point, Lucio on point.
Far with no mercy on point. Half in the skies. Far was one shot. Good shit.
Okay, gotta watch the deflect. Got dash as well. Make sure that we're requesting healing, using cover, and all that sort of thing, sort of stuff. That way, we're able to stay alive still.
Should I have? Was they like attacking the right targets then? Because I kind of felt like I was a little lost in the beginning there.
Yeah. So far, unless you have the clear opportunity on her, it might be better like maybe try to go for
Spam
somebody
down, like,
else.
McCree in the tank and stuff.
Yeah. Just because she's a lot of times gonna be able to stay out of your range.
Yeah. They're also walking on point.
Cast left. Lucio on point, Lucio on point. Lucio dead.
There's one. I'm one. Oh, okay.
Uh-oh, almost good escape.
Nice. Yeah, probably good.
Okay, good spam though. I mean, honestly, you got to think about the fact that like we already had blade, so unless we think we're gonna kill something, we got to be a bit careful
Yeah.
about just feeding him so much old charge.
Oh, just then?
Yeah, when we were, I mean, like even now, for example, when we're poking, we gotta be careful this whole time because we're just feeding them old charge. We already have our ult, so unless we feel like our
Oh, unless
damage
for a
is
kill,
going
it's not
to,
worth.
Get that
Far,
yeah,
far,
exactly.
Mercy half. Far can die here. Cast.
Okay. Make sure we're just using that deflect a bit earlier when we're being shot at, right? When we're using it defensively, we want to make sure we're using it like if we're right next to McCree and
Before I
McCree's
get
looking
shot
at
at,
us.
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I
We're
see.
usually we're using it a bit late in duels. Like we'll go in, we'll get on top of somebody, and then we'll wait a couple seconds before we use it, right? And then that sometimes is just making it so they get shots off on us. Now we're
Right, and then we're
already
half
70
down.
HP. Yeah, and then Moira comes
Mercy
and beams
res.
us down.
Oh, you're in there deep. I'm gonna blade after this. Come back. Come point. Oh my god. Where's he gonna res? Watch it. Oh, Far's still alive in the skies. Where's the... Oh.
Oneable. Is that what I said?
I think so. Oh, they just res Orisa. Have a Genji now? Genji half. No dash. Come back. Wait for monkey. Or whoever tank is. Yeah, Lucio is good aggro.
No javelin. Mercy half. Mercy
Oh,
one.
gotta be careful about dashing in aggro when we're down in low HP because
Low.
we got like right click dash and we were probably below half there when we had gone in. So gotta pay attention to the health bar. Once again, making sure we're just being aware of our surroundings, right? Genji, we got to watch for the Genji, maybe looking to deflect on them when we see all that damage is coming in.
Okay. Just more aware of my like,
Yeah.
play to live, basically more.
Yeah, exactly. And then like also like just a lot of instances where we're taking a lot of damage and deflects up as an option.
Going for blade eye bubble.
Lucio, no amp, no amp, no amp. Do you have another one? I'm going for blade. Oh my god, he had it.
I got no bubbles. They're burning every ult they have just to get.
Yeah, just stall it out. Oh. Wait, winnable. Maybe.
Nice.
The triple melee.
Can I have a touch? Okay, well. Get out.
Yeah. Very nice.
Just run.
Get out or die. We have grab here. Make sure we temper our ults. We can win them with what we have now.
All right. Be careful. There's a lot of times where we'll go for melees when people aren't low HP and they're not gonna die with it. Usually melee's best used as a finisher.
When they're like one shot.
Yeah, exactly. And it does,
I tend to use it whenever I have like no ammo and I just kind of have to do something.
Yeah, and that's maybe acceptable like if they're like 2 away, but if they're like more than 2 and you have to like 3 tap someone,
It's just worth to reset. Okay.
Exactly. It's just usually worth it to reload because they might
Okay, I have
be
no
able to
idea
just
if
out
this
heal
goes.
it.
Use grab blade here. Ready?
Yeah.
Start.
Big grab. Where'd Lucio go?
Okay.
We hold like closer to here, or like just point, I guess.
You could probably hold point, yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
there, maybe get like a second just to see how the grab goes before immediately blading.
We're
So
going for it.
yeah, like for example, like if it's just like 2 squishies in there, we might be able to burst them down even without the blade
Without
as an
it?
option. Yeah, so
Yeah.
just maybe consider it for half a second before going for it.
Rissa one. Nice. Watch us. Mercy rising.
Mercy.
Got her. Bubble. Okay.
Watch blade.
Frog. For Lucio.
You can't call French people that.
He's one. Nice. We can't hit this motherfucker. Get the mercy. Fuck the ball. Nice.
Ball.
Bro, he's actually evading me. I'm 32. Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god. Wait, so winnable. Oh, nice.
All right, go round. Or game. I'm gonna
Okay.
stream. We're gonna go over some things.
Mhm.
All right. Firstly, I would say very consistent mechanics. Very smooth and usually fairly good. We're gonna go over some things that will probably help you be even a bit more consistent, especially in terms of like left click versus right click usage here. But I would just say that right off the bat is that you're already really solid in terms of just landing your shots. All right. So I'm streaming if you want to take a look at over on Discord.
Oh, looking at my stream. Oh, okay.
You find it? There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So left click versus right click. I'm noticing a lot of times where it's not really being used properly. There'll be times where we're like, especially near the start, we were doing a lot of left clicking when we were close enough to right click, and then after I mentioned it, I think we kind of over adjusted a hair, and then there were a lot of times we were right clicking too far when we probably should have been left clicking. So we'll just go over like where is that split roughly speaking,
Right.
and whatnot. So generally speaking, ooh, this actually might be a better place to do it. So generally speaking, if we are up against squishy targets, right, who have smaller hitboxes than other characters, we are going to the rough range is going to be about 10 meters, right? Because if we are at this range right here, we can hit one single headshot. If we're within this range, especially it depends on the squishy, right? Like certain squishies you'll be able to hit better than others. On certain squishies, right, you might actually even need to be a little bit closer, right? Like notice how we're not hitting anything on him from there.
Right.
But now once we get within this range here, we can actually start to hit 2 shurikens over just a single 1 shuriken. Once we get into that like 2 shuriken range, we're gonna be better off going for those over the right clicks over the left clicks, just because it can be more efficient. Now that's soldier. Some squishies might be a little, that might have a little bit broader shoulders than he does. Not soldiers like McCree. Right, we can go a little bit further back on him, so it's gonna be roughly between this range right here on squishies, like 8 to 10, something like that on squishy targets, right? Now, tanks, they can go a little bit further, and you want to prefer the right click because, like I said before, it's they both do the same amount of damage, but it's faster fire rate, right? So it's more damage overall. So it's the preference whenever it's an option, right? So tanks, they have bigger hitboxes, so of course on a tank we can probably go from a bit further away. So if we're going for these on a tank, I mean here it might be more like that, right? For that's another tiny little tip is that you can curve
aim a little bit to the right. So okay.
Aim a little bit to the right or left. That sort of thing, and we can get a little bit more in there. So that's another thing. Rissa, once again, maybe not the biggest tank, but that extends it maybe 10, 12, something like that. But roughly speaking, on most characters, it's going to be within this range roughly. And then past that is left click. Another thing I'd say is don't be uncomfortable using left click dash. I'm noticing a lot of times, like even when we're back here, a lot of times even from like back here, we'll right click and then we're just hitting one single shuriken. Versus what we can do is we can left click into our dash, where we do this into dash, right? Yep. So that way we're able to hit more shurikens, with our dash combo. So that's an idea as well. So there'll be just times where we'll right click from back here on people, and then there'll be times where we'll left click when we're right here on the Orisa, right? So we're just gonna be a lot more efficient if we're just going for those right clicks from up here. Also, you can extend further backwards with if we're, for example, going for spam shots into big clumps of people. Now, if you're trying to hit someone specific, then left click, but if you're, for example, just farming ults or something, or if we're shooting into shields or something of that nature, then being from back here isn't going to matter because now you have a big old rectangle to hit, right? So fire away right clicks into that. All right, all makes sense?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yep. All right. Another little techie thing that we can review real quick is when you're dueling people, dashing at people, make sure that we're dashing if we are close to them, we want to dash into the floor so that we're not extending super far beyond them. We'll have a bunch of like engagements where we'll dash through people and be all the way over here.
Yeah.
And then now we run into an issue where we can't really follow up super easily. But instead, if we dash to the floor, so firstly looking down, but also jumping usually helps with this as well. So jump up, dash to the floor. Or, I mean, let me not kill him there. But we dash to the floor. Yeah, exactly. So it kind of stops your momentum and keeps you much closer for the follow up shots and whatnot.
Blade 2, I guess,
Yeah, exactly, with Blade 2. Yep. And I did see you using that like a little bit, but I don't know if it was like super conscious. Yeah, I don't know how conscious it was, and we wouldn't use it all the time. We'd use it some of the time. Let's see what else was there. We were talking a bit about cover usage. Make sure that we're using cover. Curves all over the place, right? If I'm standing here, I'm super far out in the open. It takes me so long to run back over here. But if I'm standing right here, well, now I can just do this instantly.
Just peek with it. Okay.
Right. So there's a lot, and cover, like I said, is all over the place. You have pillar, slope, random pillar sitting around in between shots when we're reloading, when we're low HP, corners, same thing. Random objects like the payload we can use as cover. Pillar, corner, doorway,
Literally anything that
corner.
can block shots, just
Literally anything.
hide behind it whenever I'm not shooting. Okay.
Yeah, whenever you're not shooting, or whenever you're taking damage being shot at, people
Right,
using
right, right.
abilities at you, ultimates at you. It's the easiest way in the game to negate damage, right? For all
Right.
characters.
Yeah, I get it. Seems like a pretty easy thing, but I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah. Yep. It's usually a self-explanatory topic, but then like it's applying and putting into action.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I guess so that survivability. I think we ended the game. I forgot to check what your ending deaths
Oh,
was
yeah.
at the end there. But survivability did seem like something to keep an eye on of making sure we're staying alive. Now of course you want to be aggressive, right? Because aggressiveness
Right.
is how you
kills
do
and stuff.
things. Yeah, like you're not gonna be able to do anything sitting in spawn the whole game. Even though you'd stay alive, you're not gonna be able to accomplish anything. So to accomplish stuff, you have to play aggro, but if you play aggro in the wrong times, that's just going to get you killed. So there are times
Right.
that dictate that you will need to play passive. And then when we do play aggro, we want to play aggro in such a way in which that we're not dying by using cover and being aware of our surroundings and, and using our abilities correctly and whatnot, right? So we want to make sure we're just being aggressive correctly. Whereas there's maybe a couple times where we're not being aggressive correctly, that sort of thing. So make sure we're keeping an eye on that. Deflect, I think we could be using deflect a bit better. Firstly, just using it more frequently. Secondly, looking to use it defensively and offensively. It was kind of used a little bit infrequently, but it can be used defensively and offensively. So usually more defensive, but can be used offensive if we see high amounts of damage, abilities, ultimates that we can deflect. Especially if we're for example, like jumping in front of their whole team, or something like that, that can usually get a bunch of damage to go back at them.
Right.
But
Okay.
on the more defensive end, like let's say we're going into a duel with someone, especially if you know it's going to be a 1v1, right? If we're coming up against this bot guy, right? And it's just a 1v1, you don't necessarily have to be afraid of using both your abilities if you're sure it's going to stay a 1v1.
Right.
Because, there's no reason to hold on to it if we're just going to get it back again by the time the duel's over with, right? So maybe go in aggro, we don't get the kill, then, get a little away from us, but we probably want to use deflect decently early on because that can, reflect all, it stops us from taking all damage and then
Right,
also
like
deflects it back at them. Right. So it can be a way to just flip-flop the fight back on top of them. So it's going to be really handy in duels. And we're just a lot of times taking a lot of unnecessary damage. Watch for that damage. I think let's maybe talk a little bit about application. And there's sometimes like where awareness came into play. And I think there's one thing you were asking me before of like, how do I get better at that? I'm trying to remember what that was.
Oh, like knowing where targets go when I
Yeah.
wait or go aggro.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
practice experience
Which
and
more
whatnot.
games is like a way to practice that.
Yeah, more games, but then also on top of that, let's talk about application of things. Like obviously you want to keep track of people, but maybe like oh well, how do I do that?
Right.
Is a thing, is an issue. Now, what category of the game would you say that falls under of keeping track of somebody?
Like, like categories like game sense, mechanics kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
Probably like awareness.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
Mechanics, 'cause you have to like look at them.
Yeah, I'd say primarily awareness because it's keeping track of our surroundings and paying attention to where people are. Maybe like you said, yeah, a little bit of mechanics of mechanically keeping track of them and keeping up with them.
Yeah.
But sometimes awareness I feel like maybe on the surface seems like a very confusing topic of like how do I actually apply that?
Without seeing them. Yeah, it's
Yeah, like it's just looking, so and and listening. So how do I look and listen better? So let's go over the application. How do you do that stuff better? And the basic application is that while you're playing the game, you're going to make sure that you are actively focusing on these things to put into action. That's going to mean that you're not autopiloting, that contrary to popular belief, you're not purely playing to win, but instead playing to improve, because that'll lead to progress rather than better gameplay, progress rather than just stagnation.
Right.
And then what that will actually look like within your gameplay is you're going to come in, let's say we're trying to work on awareness, right? We're thinking to ourselves, awareness, 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 awareness. I'm going for blade. Watch where people are, watch where people are, watch where people are, right? And we're just
Okay.
actively giving
Just
ourselves
drilling it in
reminders.
until I don't have
Yeah.
to think about it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, drilling it in, and then like as you drill it in, I mean you'll probably be able to keep track of people a bit better than if you weren't thinking about it at all,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And then once you do that for a long enough period of time, it forms it as a habit, positive habit, and then finally you can move on. It just comes naturally now, right?
Okay. Yeah. That
Final
makes sense.
thing is just don't try to do everything all at once. That'll, if you try to do
Mhm.
everything we talk about today, that'll just be a little bit too
Right. Right. I won't be
overwhelming.
able to do any of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So focus on one category or 1 to 3 smaller things within a category if the category's a bit too big.
Mhm.
Okay? All
Okay.
making sense? Any questions?
Yeah, this makes sense. I have a,
Mhm.
well, I mean, if kind of a tangential question, just in general. Like, I'm notice in I can really only play Genji and like maybe Soldier to the ability of like the rank that I'm at
Mhm.
right now. I was wondering, is it A, worth it to learn other heroes, and B, if so, which would you like recommend as like
So
good secondaries?
it's up to you. Honestly, it just kind of depends on your playstyle and what you want to do. Do you want to be a two trick or do you want to be a more than two trick?
I
Like
would like to
that's
be more than 2 trick. I mean, that's
okay. Yeah.
ideal, but I don't know who to like.
Yeah, well then that's totally up to you because like you can do it either way, like you can climb either way. But like if you want
Okay,
to be if
okay.
you want to learn more characters, you know Genji, Soldier. Um, Genji serves as the divey brawl character. Soldier
Yeah.
acts as a bit more of a flexible all around spam
Yeah, I
character
wouldn't say I know a
usually.
whole lot about Soldier. I think he's just easy
Mm,
to play because you just
yeah.
sit behind cover and shoot at them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pick up Tracer a little bit, but she's fucking way too hard.
Yeah.
I don't
Would you
know.
say that you're more comfortable with hit scanner projectiles?
Projectile probably, yeah.
Projectiles. So maybe rather than going the tracer route, we could go for something more projectile based.
Like,
Kind of trying to think here. It would depend on where you feel your weaknesses lie.
mhm,
If you're trying to pick up a new character, like if you feel like you're struggling in maybe longer ranged environments, Hanzo could be decent in longer
mhm.
ranges. Um Echo wouldn't be too shabby, but I mean, like, I don't think that she's like a high tier pick at the moment. Trying to think through
Okay.
here. Um, yeah, May, Junkrat are out of the, and Torbjorn are kind of niche picks at the moment. Farah is a
Right.
niche pick at the moment. So
Really.
yeah,
I mean, I can play his game. I just because of
mm,
so much time I've played into Genji and like other
yeah.
particular heroes, they're just easier for me.
Yeah, if you're looking for a harder brawl character, like on
Mhm.
brawly maps, I'm currently right now. I think this season Genji's my most played,
Mm.
followed by Sombra and then like Reaper and Sojourn. Um,
I don't know how to play Reaper
so
at all.
yeah, well,
Reaper.
Reaper, I would say if you're interested, I'd say
Hmm.
it's probably a fairly underrated comp pick at the moment.
Okay. Okay.
And he's an easier character for lots of value, especially on closer ranged maps. So
Right.
if you're, for example, looking to pick a character on more brawly maps, he's probably going to be a good
Hmm.
choice. Like right now, for example, I think last time I checked, he was meta in Owl, right? They were doing
Yeah. Yeah.
Kirika,
On
Reaper,
every team. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Lucio, right? And just
Monkey. Everything.
yeah, exactly. So that might be a decent pick. I don't think the main stuff with Reaper is more game sense than necessarily
Mm.
raw
Okay.
mechanics of knowing how to
Yeah.
use his abilities, which we can go over if you want to. Even if you wanted to like hop into a quick play. But besides that,
Yeah.
Sombra would also be like a decent pick. Honestly, I'm finding
You
Sombra
should
as a
just get
bit.
like axed
Yeah.
completely in
Well,
recent patches.
okay. You're right there. I have to actually remember that they nerf characters here. Because I just
They
came through
do. They do
today.
things now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we're gonna have to see where she lies because she was really good. Now she does. It's 20% now, right? With her.
Yeah. Instead of
Yeah,
like
I have to recheck all
six.
the patch notes. Yeah. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Yeah. Besides that, maybe Hanzo for longer range if you're interested in picking up a longer range character, longer range projectile character. Echo and Pharah would be more maps that have lots of high ground on them, or not necessarily always maps with high ground, but I guess more accurately, lots of sky cover more accurately.
Okay.
So they'd be a bit more map specific for those picks. But yeah, some of those options like maybe seem like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
I think Reaper would be a good place to look into. He seems like easy to pick up at the very least.
Yeah. Definitely for sure. And he also didn't get axed.
Right, yeah. Like I was
Yep.
trying to get the like Tracer seems too many mechanic like a new Genji basically.
Yeah.
When I first started Genji, it was terrible, and I don't want to
Yep.
do that again. I think Tracer will be the same experience because there's just so much you have to have mechanically down.
Gotcha. All right. Any other questions?
Not really, no.
Okay. Well, we got 20 minutes left here. Would you like to go? I don't think we have enough time for another comp here.
Yeah, we
Would you
can
like to
play.
quick play? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I can add you in game here if you don't want to stream here because that can probably get us better quality anyways.
Quality. Yeah, I got you. The way. There you go.
Alrighty. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to cover. I think that's a lot of that being it.
I guess something I've been trying to get better at is like ult tracking, but it's more of like a feel thing. I'm realizing,
Yeah.
and it's just I can just get better with it as I play, I guess.
Sure. Ult tracking is honestly fairly simple once you break it down, and I don't think a lot of people really put much thought into it. So I mean that's a handy skill to know if you're interested. Do you want to like hop out of queue for like half a second if you want me to? Oh, you already got a game. Okay,
Oh, I
never
just
mind
got
it.
to yeah.
All right, spectating. All right, I'm
You think this is
spectating
the
now.
Reaper viable map?
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I mean you definitely can't. I think. Mm, I guess honestly, like if you wanted to, like especially since it's a quick play and you're just if you wanted to get them, tips on the character, then go for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say
Have
that he's
confidence with
good
you,
on the
though?
map.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd say he's good on the map because it's a usually very wide open map, but he actually is. He's not too bad because there's a lot of high grounds he can TP to, and whatnot. There's some close quarters parts of the maps, so general idea with Reaper, get in close, do stuff, get out. Your basic ability combo is we're going to TP in behind them, usually to high ground or to the left, to the right, behind. Try to make it hidden. And then we shoot at them, we wraith out once we feel pressured. Then we shoot at them from the front line until we can repeat.
Death appears.
Oh, that's not the right. Okay. How chaotic this is. Can do that. I mean, they don't have the.
Make sure that you're adjusting your camera for when you come out of your wraith, so that you're able to be already pre-looking at the person. Maybe set up on their high once you go Doom here, right? We can be setting up on the high grounds, right?
See. And when they walk in, I'll just drop on them.
Yep.
Oh. He didn't make it, so I can move a little bit in my TP, which is nice. Just get one shot.
Well, that's it. That's if you're jumping. Yep.
A victim appears.
Oh. Okay.
There's one.
Okay. Want to be a bit careful about being like kind of repetitive and coming from the same place every time, because that can make it easy for them to just
Right.
avoid me and shoot at us.
Oh my god.
All right, you
Okay.
know, of course, you're just gonna have to get a bit used to the
I've not
mechanics
played
and
much Reaper,
whatnot.
as you can see. Yeah.
All good.
I'm not.
Use your abilities as coming back from spawn, so you can just get back to the fight sooner. Usually, you can wraith through the twisty spots, and then you TP the longest distance they are able to TP.
I have arrived.
Well, I can't do much here.
Okay. Make sure that we're grouping up rather than going in. Request healing. Yeah, requesting healing just can get your supports to look at you sooner.
Oh my.
The shadows coalesce. Must help.
Oh, gotta watch
Straight.
respect those Whittle line of sight. Just stay out of it unless you're dueling her and whatnot. Or you are trying to actively avoid them.
They cannot
Yeah, I'm starting to see what you mean by I can't really. There's a lot of sight lines. I can't really just be always in the flank in this map.
Yeah, and really it's gonna be about quietly sneaking up on them, right? Like with the TP, you're gonna find a lot of value out of just TPing in to get close, dropping on top from high grounds and things like that.
I could use some help.
Oh my god. It's crazy. Okay. You have.
Beware the shadows.
I am not having a great time on Reaper. Okay.
You just gotta watch all these things that are getting us the one taps, the sleeps, the punches. Gotta look to dodge them. We have Wraith that can get around them. We have cover that can get around them using the high ground as
Oh,
cover. You have cover.
That's something to think about.
Right. Right now we should maybe like TP like top left, getting over on top of the Widowmaker. Yeah. When we
Okay.
TP, we generally want both, and I'm sure this may be in the training range, but we generally want both ends of the TP to be hidden. Right? We want it to be a surprise, so they're not already pre-aiming us and they don't know where we're coming from.
Let's see. My team is cleaning house right now. What the fuck?
Enemies sighted.
Okay. Probably set up for Blossom, right? Something like that.
It is ready.
Oh, yeah, trains. Okay. That's a long time.
Once again, Wraith. They're possibly going to just drop back to our team rather than dropping for the mini and then isolating ourselves in this tiny little room, right? So if our team's all sitting back in car, just running out the window probably would have been more effective.
Not done.
Watch out for this one. Here. Watch out for this one.
Yep. So like that's a much better TP spot than we've had.
Okay. You know what? I might just say fuck this ultimate and switch anyways. Let's see. What do we got? So let's try this.
Is all I have left.
Yeah, I probably should have switched earlier, but I just kind of had this ult and I was hoping it would be able to be used.
Power grows stronger. Over there. Greetings.
Oh my god!
I wouldn't do it. Try to do that if she has line of sight on you, just
Is looking
because
at
it's just because it's such a like you popping up there. It's just like a really slow animation. It's not like peeking around a corner, which you can do in half a second.
My arrows fly true. I'll find them.
Oh, easy.
Gotta be careful about going far forwards. Maybe saving the leaps for when Doomfist dives us.
Defense.
Yeah.
I
Use it
cannot
like
give
a
up
like a
yet.
pseudo dash.
Yep.
Enemy here.
Where is the? Oh.
All right. Well, Hanzo looks like that's working a bit better, which is interesting because Reaper. I'd say Reaper's very much more similar to Genji in playstyle than Hanzo is.
I guess this is an easier pick.
Not even. I think it's playing to more so to your strengths because your strengths are more mechanical, and I think
Yeah.
where we need to work on a bit more is the, is our awareness and our engagements.
Positioning in just general.
Yeah.
I'll find them. The dragon awakens.
Oh my god.
Very nice.
Yeah, in my brain. In my brain, Hanzo counters Widow, even though she can like technically shoot faster.
Yeah, he doesn't like neither counters the other. They're just, I mean, like in a sense, snipers are each other's worst enemy, right? It's I wouldn't call it a counter,
Really
something
better,
that
I
can
guess.
contest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
contest is better.
Yeah, it's a good character to contest the other.
Scanning.
Could I be like moving up or something? 'Cause
Yep,
I'm scared as
that'd be
soon as I
fine.
move up.
That'd be fine
Okay,
because remember you can always climb back up to that high ground.
that's true. This is one of the only other characters that can also wall climb. Cool.
Kitsune got you.
Oh,
All right.
that's unlucky.
Maybe wanted to have retaken high ground earlier when they were pushing us. Also, dragoning just like a bit early in the fight. Now they did transit, which was good, but they just
It's good?
when nothing's going on. Oh, it's good because we baited out the ultimate. But,
Oh, because he had it
um,
anyway. Yeah.
yeah. But at the same time,
Can you reflect? Oh my god.
all right.
Okay.
At the same time, if we're using it first thing, then they have nothing to distract them. They can put all their resources into just getting away. They have all their abilities to get away from Dragon. Usually ultimate it, and then also it's less valuable at the very start of the fight. Or sorry, not at the very start, but before the fight begins. We kind of use it before the fight began. So usually you want to use it when the fight starts, not before the fight starts. Yeah, that's gonna get you a bit more value and keep you doing things longer. All right, we're going to exit out here. Reaper, like I was saying before, your basic combo with Reaper is TP in, do stuff, and usually you want both ends hidden. So rather than doing it like, oh, I'm gonna TP here to here, where they can see if the enemies are there, they can see both ends of this. We want to hide ourselves behind the wall, and then maybe like TP up to here, where now they can't see either end of this, and it's sneaky, right? We tear up their back line, right? We shoot things over here. Once we feel pressured, we race back to our team.
And then
We play from the we play from the front line, get our abilities back, and then once we get our abilities back, we rinse and repeat. Right? That's essentially the concept and idea behind it. I think we're getting we're having trouble closing the gap. Particularly, yeah. Particularly because they always saw where we were coming from, and then that just let us get killed. Making sure we're using Wraith better and not kind of walking at them in straight lines, using cover, right, like that sort of thing, is going to help us not get like one tapped and shot and and slapped and punched and things like that, right? All right. Hanzo, honestly, we only saw him for a minute. Much better. So I mean that might be a good character to pick up that seems to be meshing with you, right, better off the bat. All right, well let's hop into the end credit stuff here. We're gonna do a quick review over everything, go over the main points of the session, do a just general wrap up. Genji abilities, deflect, use much more, right, than we have been. Use it defensively when people are shooting at you, right, all that jazz. In duels, dash, not too shabby. Dash at the floor when you're when you're really close and you're gonna go past people. I think that's primarily it. Left click into dash from ranges, right? Overall, that's about it. Almost said overall 3 times in a row. Abilities, therefore, probably go to a, let's say a lower end of a medium priority for you to work on. They're kind of something, but not highest thing. Ult usage, Genji, make sure we're keeping track of where people are. That seems to be the biggest issue with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think you were using your ultimates at pretty good times on Genji. You didn't hold on to it. We used it. Just make sure that we're tracking people. Look to combo with as many abilities as possible. So come into the fight, or before the fight starts, say I got Blade, give me damage boost, give me Kiriko, give me bubbles. Right? And that your Blade's going to go much smoother than if you got none of that. Right? I think that's about it there. That one, maybe about the same. Trying to think, maybe like a tad bit lower, but about the same as your deflecting and ability usage.
Like the number one thing.
Oh, we'll get that in a moment.
Okay.
Then then there's some other things with other ultimates, like make sure we're not holding on to it on Reaper, make sure that we're not using it too early on and before the fight even begins. Then, besides all of that, we got mechanics. Overall general aim, very, very good. Left click versus right click, right? Roughly between tanks and squishies is going to be about like 8 to 12 meters or so. You can extend it further with spamming on groups or if we're shooting into shields. But once we're within this, we're right clicking. Once we're past that, we're left clicking, right? Make sure we're just respecting that. Think that is mainly it within mechanics. I don't think we talked too much else on mechanics. Moving on, we got your positioning. Make sure you're using cover. Good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. So we want to make sure that we are using it, standing near it, we're being shot at, that we're ducking behind it. For all, I think that's about it. I don't think there's like too much else involved with that. Next, and then overall positioning. I guess I kind of skipped over those, but mechanics probably goes to a probably a like higher end of a low to medium. It was really just the one thing, and then comes your positioning probably comes more so at a lower end of a medium, all kind of stacking up in the same place. And then finally comes your awareness. Make sure that you're paying attention to your health bar. Request healing. It's going to get your supports to look at you sooner. Make sure you're paying attention to what's up with my team, where they at, do like 360s, pay attention to them. Where's the enemy team at? Who's looking at me, who's shooting at me, that way you know when to deflect. Make sure that you are paying attention to kind of the general flow of the fight. And, we're going to go over ult tracking, but we don't have time for that, unfortunately. Maybe I'll briefly mention it. Then make sure that you are just generally paying attention to your surroundings. I think I got it killed sometimes because we weren't really paying attention. Overall, that one is probably more like higher end of a medium. And then finally we have survivability. Make sure you're looking to stay alive, right? Think about all the things that cause deaths. It's kind of a mixture of everything, right? Sometimes we'd be out of poor positioning. Sometimes we'd have a lack of awareness. Sometimes we wouldn't use abilities, so misuse of abilities. Sometimes we would be over aggressive and kind of sprint into their spawn. sometimes we would have you know, poor movement, and we just like run at them in a straight line and then get you know, one tapped by Widowmaker. So kind of a mixture of everything. That one was also a big thing, especially if you feel like it's a little bit more repetitive in your games. That one's going to be like a higher end of a medium. Possibly past that, it kind of depends. And then that's about it. So put that all in order. Number 1 is going to be your probably awareness. Number 2, survivability. 3 is going to be probably trying to think here. It's kind of tied between these. Number 3, I suppose we will put at your positioning, making sure we're using cover. 4 will tie with usage and ability usage, and then finally we'll say last one is mechanics. Any questions?
So, yeah, I mean, I guess not really. I think I'll just have to try to be very conscious of like awareness and stuff.
Yeah, thinking about your surroundings, right? But making sure that's that's dictating how we play the game based off what's going on around
Right.
us.
You said
Yeah.
do 360s. I guess looking is how I would. I might have to raise my sense for that though, because I can't really do 360s that easily
Yeah.
with the sense I have.
Yeah, so I mean your aim's very good. Usually it's I would recommend that you be at a minimum with your sensitivity. If you come up to like a bottom of the training range and you look at them and you take your mouse and put it on the left side and you drag it to the right side, that you're able to do at least a 360.
I think that's almost exactly where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, which that means that you're able to do a 180. So like you start off in the middle, you go like this, you turn back. Right, that's your, for all intents and purposes, a 360.
Right. Okay.
If we turn around and if we're looking this way and we turn around, that covers the entire rest of our screen and we just turn back, right?
Yeah,
Or
okay.
we turn around, lift up, turn around, lift up, turn around, right? I mean, honestly, either or works. It's a, you know, it's up to you. But the idea is look around, right? Don't just kind of tunnel vision on what's in front of us. That sort of thing. All right.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. So let's see. Wrap us up.